Hello, hello, hello. This is alertwolf here. Gonna bring you my BTOOOM uh, episode 10 review. And this one's called High Level. Yeah, sorry about that. And basically, it starts out more or less where the last one ends off. Actually, it starts up right away. Um, and you find out the guys behind the game are monitoring the fight between Oda and Sakamoto. And basically, they're actually going for, like, I guess Sakamoto's their favorite. It's between their two best players, and he figures, and they actually thought if Sakamoto won, that he would have beat the game, that would have been it. The game would have been done or complete. So these two guys are who they feel are the best in the game, and who they're looking. These are the guys they want to see fight and kind of destroy themselves. So it's really interesting to see that. And then when they thought Sakamoto lost, uh, they panicked for a second. But then they realized they were only looking at it from one angle, and it was actually Oda who fell for his trap, and that was pretty good. He got him to tip his hand. He got a concussion grenade. He threw it at Oda. It missed. And by the way, the confirm his name is Oda is I think is now that I know his name is pretty good, but he threw the bomb at it. It missed. Excuse me, and and there was still a lot of smoke. So Sakamoto jumps into the water, and Oda's like, "What? He's running away?" Because he had picked up the last fire grenade from the old man from the previous episode and threw it at him, and it blew up uh, just as he was entering the water, and it clipped his bomb pouch. And he's like, so Oda's thinking he was running away, and he's like, no, he anticipated my attack and dodged it. So that's pretty funny. That these two guys are just fucking, they're just up there, and but Oda goes to make off with the food. Um, Sakamoto is still in the water, and then uh, you get a quick scene of Doctor Date and Himiko, and she wants to head over to where where Sakamoto is, because she's worried about him. And he's like, "You got to be careful. Keep your head about you, because there were like 5 or 6 other players. It could be a trap. We got to do this cautiously." And she's like, "All right." So then we're back there, and you get a nice scene where she starts calling for him, and it turns out, like, you almost sense that he heard it, but he didn't. Oda calls it out to Sakamoto too. Well, both Himiko and Oda were calling him by his first name, Royata. Uh, so he's like, "How do you know me?" He's like, "Oh, it is you." He's like, "Ha," and he leaves. And he's like, "How do how do you know who I am?" So he gets out of the water. And at this point, the man is just spent. He used up all his energy. He collapses on the beach in exhaustion. Right then, Doctor Date and actually, I'll take that back. As he's collapsing on the beach, um, um, Kira, right? He he shows up, and he's like, "Man, that battle was great. Like, from two of the best players. I want to have a battle like that." And he goes, "Hey, since you're not going to be needing this, I took these back." And he's like, "What?" Because one of the bomb pouches was clipped off him in the explosion when he was dodging the firebomb, and it was his bomb pouch. He's like, "Listen, you can't use these anyway, haha, unless I'm dead. So they're no good to you." So the kid is rearmed. That is freaking great. And then he walks away, and he's like, "See you later." And he's like, "Oh, that's just great." And so so then that's he finishes passing out from the not passing out, but like laying down from the exhaustion. He's like, "I didn't eat. I didn't get the food. I lost the bombs to the psycho kid. This is not a good day for me, huh?" And Himiko and the doctor. That's when they walk in. They find him. Uh, they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And she gives him a big hug, which makes him blush, and he kind of like pushes her away because he's shocked by it. He's like, "Hey, I'm wet, and I'm gonna get you wet, and I'm dirty, and I haven't showered." Crazy lady. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And Doctor notices that these two are very much in love, but sort of. But we head back to um we head back to base. You know, to check on the poor injured Tara, who with no fingers, and that venom from that poison f- from the Komodo dragon bite is preventing his wounds from closing, and he's in pretty bad shape. They end up trying to cook. Sakamoto makes a cup of noodles last for everybody. Boil some water and added the cup of noodles so it spread out for everybody. So he made enough soup. Um, you know, And the whole time, the doctor dude is thinking, these guys are dead weight. Now I have to share my only food with them. He lets it slip that there's going to be food the next day, tomorrow. And he's like, he's like, I can't let them know I was here before. So he's like, yeah, I've been hearing these engines, and I figured if I heard one yesterday, and I heard one the day before, and I heard one today, so it's going to be here tomorrow. And, what's his face? Uh, you know, buys it. And at the same time as he's cooking this food, Sakamoto has a flashback because he's trying to figure out who this guy is. And then he figures out it's Oda because we get Oda's whole backstory. Or not his whole backstory with Sakamoto. And basically, he was a popular kid, good looking guy, whatever. But he's basically Sakamoto's best friend from high school. And it's funny because, he was always slightly jealous of him. And they were, they just became friends basically and hung out together. And basically Sakamoto, and they both, came from single parent households, and which means his mom only recently got remarried, I might add, because high school was probably, what was he, like 23, maybe 16, so it was a few years ago. And what happened was, basically, you know, Sakamoto was always slightly jealous of him, and they're good friends, and he let him in, is what he said, because he used to be closed off from people, and he let it slip, or not that he let it slip. He told his buddy that he was in love with this chick in his class. He's like, you should ask her out. He constantly says no. He's like, you're the type of guy who would buy anything somebody tells you. You're too naive, and the first person to act wins. Stop being on the defensive the whole time. He goes, the only difference between you and me is that I'll act first, basically. And it's funny because Sakamoto didn't really understand what he was trying to say. And so what happens is the next day or whatever it is, what happens because Sakamoto never acted on the chick, he did. And there's an incident in class where the chick he was fucking uh, found out that he fucked the chick Sakamoto liked and confronted her in the class and confronted him. And then so they go upstairs to talk about it, and he's like, "Hey man, Oda, what happened? What happened with those chicks?" And he's like, "Well, I kind of felt bad about it, but I slept with that chick you liked." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, she came on to me, so I fucked her." And this made Sakamoto snap. Now, I understand, you get from the premise that he was trying to teach Sakamoto a lesson, to make him stronger, I guess. Who knows? But it's still a scumbag thing to do. So they end up getting into a fight. Sakamoto just punches him in the face until people have to pull him off him. Uh, the other dude, Oda, drops out of school. He heard that he became like a host, so he's like a male gigolo guy, and he ended up buying and owning the club. And he's like, from the type of person he is, I'm sure somebody reported him, and yeah, so and that's the backstory. And he's like, now we're enemies. So that's a pretty good backstory, I guess. I mean, we don't know why he's on the island, but we do know that the fact that they used to be friends is something. Um, and then we have to save Terra. Terra's gonna die, and Himiko knows where some medication is gonna be found. And she tries to pull um, Sakamoto aside and talk to him about this doctor dude because she doesn't trust him, but she didn't know how to mention it. So the three of them end up deciding to go to get the medicine. Now the medicine is where his ex chick is, who he tried to kill. So they go there, and then on the path, she tells him, "I don't trust him. He tried to kill me with with that remote mine. Like, I don't trust this dude. He's bad news. He's pretending to be a good dude. And you told him we have 3 chips already, so he's probably planning to kill us." And he's like, "Nah, nah. You got to start trusting people." She's like, "All right, fine. I won't mention it again." So they get there, and she's like, "We're not gonna tell him what's his face is," and he's like, "No, no, no, no." So they make up some BS excuse. She gets lost a lot. And they go into the building and search for the medicine. Now, at this point, the 3 of them go their separate ways. Himiko goes to talk to the chick. Uh, Sakamoto goes a different direction on another floor to help search for things. The doctor, honestly, because he's aware of this base, knew exactly where everything was and went there. He's like, "There's nothing here for me to help this guy." And he's like, "You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm done with these people. I'm just going to kill them and take their chips. This is what's going on in his head." At that moment, Sakamoto walks in and he's like, "Oh, you found everything you need?" He's like, "Yeah, I did. He's like, "Here, man, do you trust me?" He's like, "Yeah, I trust you. I heard what you guys were talking about, mutual trust." He's like, "No, man, I trust you." So he's like, "Here, hold on to the medicine." So now both his hands are tied, basically, because he had his one briefcase and now he has 2 briefcases. And when he put them on him, Sakamoto noticed that this dude came off creepy as fuck and with a killer intent behind him, but he ignores his own better judgment. Um, Oh, yeah, yeah. He ignores his own better judgment and and basically he freaking he allows himself to be tricked by this guy. And even in his head he's thinking when Oda told him you just trust anything anybody tells you. So I don't know, like it's just slightly retarded to me. Like he had misgivings and he just went with it and ignored them. Right then, Himiko comes through. She's like, "Get rid of that." She's running, so he looks out the window to see why. And she's like, "Take off the case. There's a BM." Obviously, she talked to the chick who, once she mentioned this doctor's name, Doctor Date, she knew. So that's that's pretty much the end of the episode. He tries to get the briefcase off, uh, and it explodes. So you know we don't know what happened. Uh, we don't. There it is. We don't know what happened, and that's how the episode ends. Oh, I did forget one thing. We do get that crazy chick's name is Hidemi. Hidemi. That's what I was looking at my phone for because I cheat. Hidemi. Yeah, especially I'm horrible with names. It usually takes a whole anime for me to, well, depending on the size of the anime, but usually the whole anime for me to start getting names. And when they add me a new character 2 episodes before or 3 episodes before they're gonna end the show, they throw me for a loop. So uh in the next episode, hold on a second. in the next episode, we get scenes from the trailer that shows obviously he's going to be confronted um by his former love there, the nurse, and it's going to be a showdown between them. Now they also keep the suspense going about Sakamoto because as he's running around, he's thinking I already killed Sakamoto. Now I just got to kill this chick and Tara. So I mean, obviously he's not dead. Maybe he's injured. We'll see. Because maybe he's even knocked out because we don't, Sakamoto has a lot of reflexes. So, you know, so that's what it is. And the next episode I believe is called Arrival. So, yeah, Sakamoto has just fast reflexes. I'm sure he escaped mostly unscathed. So, we'll see. Um all right, this show is getting closer to its ending. Obviously, they almost have enough chips to call for the plane. And I believe if they put Tara's chips together and kill this Dr. Date douche, they're going to have enough. I believe Tara may have 4. They have 3. That's 7. They kill the doctor dude. That's 8. I believe they need 8 or whatever the math adds up to. I'm pretty sure if they kill the doctor dude, they're good. So it's interesting to see where this is going to take us, because obviously there has to be a confrontation between Oda and Sakamoto as well as Kira. Uh, so it's just interesting to see where these going, and obviously the creators of the game. Which is funny to me that Sakamoto's their favorite. Um, so all this stuff, man, it's funny. He did want to get into product testing the game, huh? So that's what he's doing. I mean, they chose him for a reason, even though his mom chose him. But you know what I mean. So what am I gonna rate this episode? I'm gonna give it like a 4. I like the drama and suspense build by the episode. There was some action in the beginning. Um, I liked hearing Oda's backstory. I dig the fact that he was his former best friend. I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool twist to add to things. And I'm just gonna say Tara, man, hanging on. Tara hanging on, surviving this thing. I mean, honestly, I called him dying like several episodes ago. Like I knew he was gonna die soon, but instead of a quick painless death with a bomb, man, this guy is lingering on. He's now useless and nearly comatose and delirious, but the fact that he's still alive, man. Tara, keep proving me wrong, buddy. Keep proving me wrong. Try to make it through BTOOOM. I mean, I still think you're gonna die, but and now that the episodes are winding down pretty soon, but maybe he'll make it all the way to the final episode. Who knows? Maybe he'll get out of there. I mean, I would love to see Tara live, so I would love to be wrong on this one. I still think he's gonna die soon, especially since we know the medicine was BS, and he's gonna, he's on death's door. I mean, maybe Sakamoto gives him the chips and airlifts him to safety. Who knows? Who knows? All right, so I think that's it. I think that's all the commentary I have for this episode. So we're winding the episode down. About two more left, and then the series is done. But this has been a stellar series so far. So click it up if you like it. Comment if you must. Subscribe if you can. And sorry, this is Alert Wolf signing off.